Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series of videos I've been doing for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I've reviewed this item in the past, and I intend to keep on reviewing it as the years go by. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? It happens to be my boom, one of my Power Man 5000 shirts. Well, with the lead singer of Power Man 5000 on it and such. Yay, Power Man 5000. If you're unfamiliar with the band Power Man 5000, they are an interesting band with an interesting history of music. Because probably the most notable, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I really like them as a band, probably the most notable thing about them is that the lead singer is half brothers with Rob Zombie, who obviously is hugely successful. But when it comes to Power Man 5000, they've had a lot of different genre changes over the years throughout the course of their music. Kind of started in one location, but they really sort of hit their big stride at kind of like the end of the 90s with their I really feel like their magnum opus album, Tonight the Stars Revolt. They kind of took on sort of an industrial sort of nu metal sound, and it's, I still think, an incredible album. I've seen them live a few times. They're always really fun. If you happen to be interested, I do have videos of said performances on the channel. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I've been a fan of these guys ever since my middle school days. So, but anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it something that I've reviewed before and continue to review? Well, folks, that's because it's a seasonal item, and it's a special item that happens to be from, boom, the Golden Arches, McDonald's. And I mean, it has to be their most iconic seasonal item. I mean, you have like the Shamrock Shake, which I also review every time they bring it out. And occasionally they'll do other things. But nothing quite compares to, boom, the McRib 2024 edition. And of course, the McRib is famous for, they dole it out once, maybe twice, sometimes 3 times a year, just kind of sporadically whenever they feel like it. And then a couple years ago, I think it was, they retired it. It was going to be done. I did a little video on that. We all knew it was coming back around. So this is the 2024 edition, and I always like to get in at least one McRib. So, but here's the catch, though. I'm doing something that I don't think I've done maybe since the first time I ever had a McRib. I'm going to eat it with the shitty pickles and onions on it. I've never understood the shitty pickles and onions on the McRib. I always take them off or ask for them to not be there. But for the review's sake, I figured, fuck it. Let's just go all in. Let's do the full McRib experience. And, I mean, it is what it is. It looks like this, and let's get a thing for a thing. Ha 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 ha! Let's give it a go. Pickles. Maybe I've been missing out this whole time. It's not as bad as I thought. The pickles, I mean, and McDonald's have shitty pickles, let's be honest. Maybe if they had nicer pickles, I'd be a little bit more favorable towards them. But, you know what? The pickle kind of goes with the tanginess of the barbecue sauce. So, like, I kind of get where they're going with it. Let's get another bite in. It adds a crunchy texture, but Not only is that something I'm not that big on for a McRib, although I suppose it does give it some actual texture. But then on top of that, the onions and the pickles are just so shitty that, like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the benefit of it is, like, yeah, the onions and the pickle are really not good. Like, they're definitely, because the thing is, the pickle aspect I don't understand on any level. But the onions I could understand if you had, like, sauteed onions or something like that, or at the very least if you were using, like, some really nice quality onions. But the thing is with this, I mean, they're there, but between the less than substantial nature of the McRib itself, the actual meat part of it, and then what the pickle and onion bring to it, it's kind of weird because, like, it all feels surprisingly ethereal. Because, yeah, you do get the extra tanginess from the pickle, but they sort of disintegrate relatively quickly. I got stuff on me. Thing. And even the onions, which, you would think, okay, they're going to have a more solid, crunchy texture to them. But even they kind of sort of go away relatively quickly. Which, I don't know, it's kind of good and kind of bad for me. Because, on the one hand, I don't really like either of them on this sandwich. But I don't hate them as much as I thought. But the reason why is because, again, they feel very sort of ethereal. Like, you can... Like, I like the McRib, but I fully acknowledge that part of the reason why I like the McRib is sort of a nostalgic thing, The McRib itself is not a great fucking sandwich. It's not a great rib sandwich, But it's... Again, it has that sort of iconic aspect to it, and let's be honest, if they put it on the regular menu, nobody would care as much about it. But it's a fun little seasonal thing. The barbecue sauce is really the main flavor. It's tangy. It's not bad for what it is. I know they actually spent quite a long time working out the barbecue sauce when they were developing the sandwich. I think as a kid, I liked it more because I was more into sweeter barbecue sauces. Now that I'm older, I prefer, like, richer sauces, smokier sauces. So, for me, it's kind of a dual thing. Like, do I still like the McRib? On a nostalgic level, yes. Even though I know that it's not particularly great as a sandwich. But, like, there's just that hit. Do I like... And the second part of it is, do I like it with the onions and the pickles? And the answer is absolutely not. Because, like I said, what little there is of the sandwich itself, it's already fighting against, like, a mountain of sauce. You're not really getting a lot of, again, that sort of meat flavor, which might be good or bad, depending. But then on top of that, like, you just got this, like, really kind of shitty pickle and shitty onion taste. Like, it's just, like, I don't really get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. I think as soon as I'm done with this review, I'm going to kick all the rest of that shit off and just eat it the way that I would normally eat it. Because at least that way I get to enjoy the sandwich as is. And I don't know, I can see it kind of one way or the other. But 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, yes, and probably not realistically. Like I said, I have a nostalgia for it, and I know a lot of people who do, who are around my age or, even a little bit older. I don't know what the youth think of the McRib. I would like to think that they have better taste than that, and that, maybe by the time I'm in my twilight years, maybe McDonald's will actually retire the McRib. Hopefully not before I die, but, we'll see. Because the thing is, like I said, for me, it's not a great sandwich, but it does have a nostalgia factor, and I do like it for what it is, even though I know it's not great. So I will, like I said, come next year when it pops around again, I'll get it again. Will I get it now again, before it ends up? No, I won't. I had my one. I'm good. For that reason, if I'm recommending it, like, I'm not really going to recommend it. It's, if you've never had one, you don't really need to experience it. And if you have had one and you're like me and you fall within that nostalgia bracket, it might be something that you're into. And I really think that you can kind of take it either way. I do think that in its own way, it's an icon of fast food, but just because it's iconic doesn't mean it's particularly great. And for my money, personally, I don't fucking get the pickle and onions. If they were better pickles and onions, maybe I could at least understand that, but they're shitty pickles and onions, so. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there for yourselves a truly, fuck it, McRib-tastic rest of your life. Because, I mean, look, it's gonna outlive us all. So, they went over there and made all the McRibs they were ever gonna make back in 1984, and now they're just doling them out until they eventually run out of the supply. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your take on the McRib? Again, do you fall within the same bracket as I do, where, you kind of grew up with it, it's kind of a special treat? Or, even if you fall within that age range, what have you, because I know plenty of people who are like, no, that thing is trash and garbage. And it's like, fair enough. It's one of those things. I'm not willing to defend it, but I will still indulge in it. So I'd be interested to hear what you fine folks have to say. But anyway.